Hey, Virginia. Virginia Hunters, how y'all doing? Hey, we'll call this one Straight Talk. A few different things have been bugging me a little bit. One, why do we still got National Guard in D.C. and a fence? Why? Inauguration's over. Biden and Harris are the president and vice president. Trump's gone. Let me tell you this. This is my hypotheses. Because they're getting ready to do some fucked up shit that they're going to need the National Guard and a fence to protect them. That's just my opinion. It's not fact. It's not fake news. It's just usually people barricade themselves in to protect themselves from stuff that they've done bad. All right. AOC came out and said she was scared for her life. She was afraid she was going to be hung. If you're scared people want to hang you, then you're doing something wrong. I'll give you a perfect example. The Virginia governor, the Honorable Ralph Northam, during the January rally 2020, he left, went to North Carolina. Why? If you got balls, come out and stand on the Capitol, stand on the steps and say, hey, I'm enacting these laws, and so what? What are you going to do? I mean, if you got balls, but he don't. There's a lot of things going on in this country right now. You look at what's going on in Texas. This is not historic. I'm talking about this is a historic storm. This is not a historic storm. I grew up there. And my daughter still lives there. And that is typical January, February Texas weather. Now, when you get all the way down into San Antonio and Austin and San Antonio, down in that area, in Houston and Galveston, snow on Galveston, that's unusual. It's not typical. But up in north central Texas, around Dallas and all the way out to Amarillo, up in the Panhandle, that's typical this time of year. You know, that north central Texas is the hottest and coldest place on the planet. It's got to be. Single digits. I've seen it single digits. I grew up there, like I said. I've seen it single digits. I've seen it below zero. I've seen it below zero one day, and 2 days later it was 70 degrees. I've seen my father mow grass on Christmas Day. And then I've seen it frozen over solid. But what is not typical about the situation down there in Texas is this power loss. So the media is trying to spin it that it has nothing to do with green energy. Well, this is not fake news. Hope they fact check it, because this is the facts. Energy companies bid every year to fill the grid. How many megawatts they plan on producing that year. 25% of Texas electricity is green. I've been doing a lot of math lately, and it's like, right? 25% of Texas's bid on the grid, let's just call it that, bid on the grid, is green energy. When you lose that 25%, you have to buy that energy from another company to fill the grid. And whatever the energy rates, so when you bid, say it was X number of dollars, and I'm just going to make this crap up. Say it was $1 a megawatt. And you said, I'll fill the grid with X number of megawatts at the price of $1, which it's not. But let's just use that for an example. Trying to keep the math simple because I screwed up the the gas deal on the other one, so don't want to do that again. So $1. All right, you lose 25% of your grid. You are still obligated to fill that grid for that $1 per megawatt. Now say it's A electric company. A electric company has to get in touch with B electric company, say they're from New Mexico, and say, hey, we need y'all to push electricity to us to fill our grid 25%. Well, that's going to cost you $3 a megawatt. Okay, fine, $3 a megawatt. So now A is losing $2 for every megawatt if they get pushed in from company B. You see where I'm going with this? They're losing $2 a megawatt for company B pushing stuff in from New Mexico. Just say. We're talking about Texas now. So now here's the problem. Oklahoma's frozen over, Texas is frozen over, New Mexico's frozen over, Louisiana's frozen over, Arkansas is frozen over. And they're all living off this green energy, 25%. Sorry about that. So they're living off that 25%. And if I'm A, I don't want to pay $3 to have another company push electricity to me to fill my responsibility on the grid. How do I know this? You might be wondering. I worked for an electric company, for electric utility. I don't understand all of it, but I understand a lot of it. But that is how it works. So if I'm electric company A and B tells me $3, I'm going to tell B to go pound sand. I'll just do without the 25%. And the customer's just going to have to suck it up. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to get those windmills going. I'm going to send somebody out there with a brush and clean those solar panels. I'm going to do everything I can to fill my grid myself so I don't incur that 3 times cost, that 300% cost to fill my responsibilities on the grid. That's what's going on in Texas. And the consumers, customers, and the people without power are paying the price. I wanted to share that with y'all. A lot of people don't understand that. But that is exactly how it works. Now, for some of you more well versed in this than I am, I might have left out a few things. But I'm just trying to give you the basics of how it works, okay? So people understand where you're at and why you're where you're at. I got an interesting phone call from a guy who lives around the Dallas area. And he told me that they are, these rolling blackouts, they're only rolling them in the poorest areas. I have not confirmed that, but that's what he said. My daughter lives down there, and fortunately, she has had electricity the entire time. Their water is off, but she stockpiled water, so she's good. She's a prepper. She's getting smart. And they're on city water, so evidently the water plant froze or whatever. But being without water is nothing new in north central Texas. When my mother was alive, she lived there, and they went without rain for 8 years. Nothing to fill the watershed. They were recycling sewage water. Yeah. So, anyway, they'll get through it. We'll survive. We'll be resilient. Those are a few of the things that are going on. I wanted to share with you. These are trying times. Pay attention to everything you can. Stay prepared for the worst and pray for the best. Pray for the best. Stay prepared for the worst. That's all I can tell you. You guys have a blessed evening. Stay safe. Keep your powder dry. And like always, Sic Semper Tyrannis.